know, first of all, setting the scene, like you said, you went to Jesuit. This is your hometown. Seeing the Super Bowl in your hometown with your home team, what are you thinking? How are you feeling?
Well, it's a pretty special week for my whole family. It's Wednesday is signing day for college football, and my son's a senior, so he'll be picking his school on Wednesday, and then I leave Thursday night to fly down to Tampa to get ready to do the Super Bowl. Like you said, back in my hometown, less than a mile from my high school, Tampa Jesuit High School there. I ran by that stadium all the time. So to be able to come back and do the Super Bowl there, and then one of my best friends of all time, Tom Brady, is the quarterback leading the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. So it's pretty surreal for me.
Yeah, and bringing it back to the hometown feel. I mean, Tampa, amid a pandemic, Tampa now hosting the Super Bowl. I mean, we had the Bolts, we had the
The
Rays,
Rays,
and
yeah,
now we have got the Bucks.
it's the
And
year of Tampa.
are you feeling a little FOMO?
Well, no, because I'm involved in it. Like I get to come home and be on the game. If I wasn't there for any of it, yeah, I'd certainly feel like I'm missing out. But I get to be a part of it. I get to come home, and Nance and Romo and Tracy, myself, Evan, we all get to go and do the game. And anytime you get to be a part of the Super Bowl, this will be my third Super Bowl with CBS. It's always really special. But to do it in your hometown, and I have all my brothers, my parents, they're all hitting me, all my friends. Hey, can you get me tickets? Can you get me in the game? And, I think I could use COVID. Sorry, COVID can't help you out.
Hey, Jake, can you get me in the game?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Courtney.
Oh, no, man. I've tried it with everyone. Hey, so let's talk about Tom Brady. I mean, you and Tom became.
Who?
There's this guy. His name is
Oh,
Tom.
okay. Yeah.
He's slightly good looking.
Is he? Yeah.
Slightly
I
good
mean,
looking.
he's not as good
So
looking
I'm
as
told.
me, but yeah, that's right.
No, so you and Tom became really, really great friends. When he decided to make the move to Tampa, did he talk to you? What was your advice?
Well, we spoke about football in general, and talked about his family. He loves his family so much, and he wanted to make sure that this decision was as much about his family as it was about football. And we talked about coaches and schemes and what would fit well with him. And he was so fully committed to New England and Bill Belichick and that organization for 20 years that he never even looked outside of it. And so this was a different world for him. And he wanted to go somewhere where he was going to enjoy himself. If he's going to play at 43 years old, you want to have fun. You want to enjoy it day in and day out. And I think Tampa ended up being a great situation, probably the perfect situation for him. I had played for Bruce Arians in Arizona, so I knew Bruce and his whole staff really well, and could talk about who they were, who their personalities were, what their schemes were like. And obviously the decision was going to be his and his alone. And I just kind of gave him a little bit of advice and told him what I loved about Tampa, what I loved about living there and where he should live, kind of where he should look at. And it's kind of cool. I just know, everybody all of a sudden, Tampa's not used to having a superstar like that, and all of a sudden now Tom Brady's driving around his boat, in the Bay and trying to be a captain out there in the Bay.
And he's a little taken aback, I think, too, by the stardom.
He's taken it back. I think he and Giselle are pretty used to it. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the other thing. The best part about Tampa is that you've got a great. I think most of us can say we have a great work-life balance. Mm-hmm. Living in Tampa, it's one of those places. But at the same time, one thing that you brought up, and it's one thing that I constantly hear. And look, I'm just a chick watching TV and sports, but I constantly hear it. Is his age. Everybody brings up his age, like, oh, he's 43 years old. But is that a big deal? And why is it a big deal?
Well, when you think about the average NFL player's career lasts about 3.5 years. Okay, so if you come in after college, you come in at 21 years old, by 25 years old, your career is over. Like that's the average NFL player. And so when you look at these locker rooms, the average player is in their early 20s. You're talking 20 to 25 years old. Like that's the time frame. Patrick Mahomes, who's a veteran now, is 25 years old. So when you talk about literally, it's another generation. They're closer to my son's age than they are to our age, which is where Tom is when he's playing right now. So, I mean, literally he could be playing with one of our kids, and it's just amazing that it not only has been able to play that long, but he's playing at such a high level and continuing to lead his team to Super Bowls. And it's just a credit to how diligent he is, how hard he works, the fact that he hasn't been complacent in any way, the fact that he's been willing to continue to put that effort in 2-3 hours a day, not just at practice, but also with Alex, his trainer, working on his body, trying to stay fresh and to stay young. And he looks younger now at 43 than he did when he started the NFL at 21. It's unbelievable.
I hate to look ahead, but I mean, he's here as a Bucks player. He came here. I mean, he's clearly been an incredible leader in uniting this team and on all levels. Can we see him stick around if we win a Super Bowl championship, or even if we don't?
Listen, I thought he was going to retire about 4 different times. Like, you win your 5th one, why not roll on? You win a 6th one, hey, perfect time. Call it a day and right off into the sunset. I don't know. I've stopped even trying to answer that question because I've been wrong so many times. I think if you're in Tampa, just enjoy every minute. Enjoy the fact that he got you to the Super Bowl. Enjoy the game. If you win it, enjoy the parade. And then whatever happens is a bonus.
All right, listen, you were a kicker. You know this. These are the types of questions that when my husband and I are sitting, my husband played college football. So these are like, nice. I'm that annoying, wife that right. Couch. I'm like, so tell me this. So this is actually one thing that I think about in a COVID environment, because we are going to be playing like Ray J. I mean, Ray J, you know it well. You're from here. So thinking about Ray J with roughly 22,000 people inside of it, former kicker, this, you're playing inside of Ray J, having so many fewer fans. Is that a better thing? Is it a worse thing? I mean, does that make you more focused rather than having this like giant, loud, booming noise? I mean, the cannons are still going to fire, but like.
Well, I think it is an advantage to the Bucks players who play there every day, practice there, are comfortable there. When you look at your kicker, Ryan Suckup, he understands that stadium better than any other kicker because he spends the most time in it. And that's how, as a veteran, that's how you take on your stadium. You want to understand it better. You want to understand the wind patterns. You want to understand, what it typically does, and you want to make that your advantage. And so the fact that they get to play there, they get to be in their normal locker room, they get to walk into the same place that they've been walking into every day all season, is a big advantage for the Buccaneers. They're not changing anything. Practice is the same all week. The game day is going to be the same, and it's going to feel really similar, where every other Super Bowl is not that way. Every other Super Bowl, everything is different. Everything, the week leading up. So for the Buccaneers players, especially the ones who haven't been in a Super Bowl before, the fact that it's not a normal week because of COVID, you don't have the media obligations, you're not traveling, you don't have all the family and friends trying to come to the game, trying to spend time with you. It's a big advantage for Tampa not having to have all those differences in a Super Bowl week.
But what about the stadium level, that noise level? Does that play into anything? I mean, especially like for Brady, for Gronk, for all of the players.
It impacts the quarterback certainly when you have noise, and Kansas City has been playing with fans as well. So there's some of the few stadiums that have been playing. The biggest impact was when you had no noise, because then you can hear everything. You could literally hear in the stadiums that have no fans. You could hear the players on one side talking across the field to the players on the other side. Quarterbacks, had to move their huddles back because the defensive players said they could hear the play call and they could hear the snap count. So you had to move your huddle back. So now that you have some fans, and Super Bowls generally aren't as loud as other games because it's a diverse crowd. Maybe it's different because you're playing in Tampa in their hometown, and you get a lot of the Tampa people going to the game because they don't have to travel. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm just glad that we got some fans, and such a really cool idea, to honor our first responders, those nurses and people that have put their lives on the line for us. It's just a great job by the NFL.
And talk about that historic bomber flyover, the trifecta. I mean, a B1, a B2, a B52, all adding up to 55 for Super Bowl. It's just, how does it get in? I mean, it's just precision to a T.
I have always loved flyovers. Absolutely. I call it the sounds of freedom. That's what it reminds me of. And I get a little choked up every time I listen to the Star Spangled Banner, every game, and see the flyover. And especially so at the Super Bowl.
All right, so last question is the question that you always get asked. You're an analyst, so this is your jam. Game predictions. I know you're not going to call it, but I mean, come on. What are you thinking here? Chiefs, Bucks.
Well, yeah, you're right. We're not allowed to, being on the game, we're not allowed to give predictions. We're not supposed to. You know, obviously, in my heart, I'm pulling for the Bucks in Tampa. My guy Brady, being from Tampa as well. I think it's really tough to beat the Chiefs. I think they're so good offensively. They have so many weapons. They have so much speed. It's so hard to slow them down. And Patrick Mahomes is just special. And so, you know, I think for Tampa to win, they have to score over 28 points. They're going to have to find a way defensively to slow down Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and special teams. They got to be dominant and really win that phase, you know, and give them an advantage. You know, when you look at field position and you look at, you know, how Tampa wins, you got to win it by making plays offense, scoring points, not kicking field goals when you're in the red zone, getting that ball in the end zone, then find a way to dominate special teams and try and slow them down.
Okay, final question for you. What's your message to your hometown right now, to those Jesuit boys that are out there watching, the Academy women who are also watching as well? I mean, to everybody, Plant High School, Robinson High School, Armstrong. I mean, Robinson, like all of these great high schools that are here that really produce incredible players.
Oh, they do. When you look around, you know, the NFL, Florida has more players than any other state. And I always thought I had the best football. Plant High School has been dominant. Jesuit had a great year this year in football. And you know, high school is a special time. I loved growing up in Tampa. I thought it was a great hometown to grow up in. And I miss it. I miss not being back there. All my family still lives there. My dad still coaches. And you know, my brothers went to Jesuit as well. I had one brother went to Armwood. So we've been ingrained in Tampa, and I got a lot of family still there. And soak it up, enjoy it, enjoy this time, enjoy the Bucks, enjoy Brady when you have it. You never know how long it lasts.